Greetings and salutations, travelers of the internet. Welcome to the Lit Round Table. I'm Joseph.
And I'm Anna. We'll be your wise or not so wise mentors for today's audio adventure into all things storytelling. Episode 16.
16. We Can Drive. Season 3 Can Drive.
Season 3 Can Drive. Look at that. That's funny.
Nice.
I have a small confession to make.
Oh.
So last week at the top of the pod, we talked about how we eat Skittles.
Uh-oh.
Yesterday was my last day at my job. And my work bestie brought in popcorn and assorted candies for like a popcorn bar, which was very sweet of her.
That is fun.
One of the candies was Skittles.
See, traditionally for a popcorn bar, I would have expected M&Ms.
There were M&Ms, but there were also Skittles.
Oh, okay.
So with my popcorn, I had peanut butter M&Ms, which were great. And in the afternoon,
Nice.
I just had like some Skittles that I scooped out into a cup. Okay?
Mm.
I was eating Skittles, and I realized I had picked up 3 Skittles, had not looked at them at all, and just plopped them in my mouth. And I realized that if I'm eating Skittles absentmindedly, I don't care what flavors they are when they hit my mouth. So I'm not as particular about my Skittle eating habits, I guess, as I thought I was.
I mean, to be fair, if I'm just mindlessly doing something else and there's Skittles, I might do this. If it's just like a big bowl of Skittles.
Yeah.
You know.
I mean, it wasn't like
also if I'm like
a lot, but
in a movie theater because it's dark in there, you know, you're just, you're doing what you got to do.
Yeah. So, also my boyfriend confirmed that when we were kids, they were lime Skittles, and then they changed them to green apple, and now they're back to being lime, which I noticed yesterday, which was great. Lime Skittles for the win. Way better than green apple. But the green apple ones and the special ones. Yeah. Anyway. We are not actually going to talk this whole episode about Skittles. Believe it or not. But we are going to talk about PBS Kids.
PBS Kids. What a throwback.
Yes. Still thriving, as far as I can tell.
Good.
But we were definitely PBS Kids growing up.
Yes, for sure.
We didn't have cable until I was like in middle school, I want to say. Mm-hmm. And it wasn't cable, it was DirecTV. But, which is satellite for those of you that don't know.
Yeah.
But yeah, we spent a lot of our childhood watching PBS shows. I'm curious to see how much of that you remember, because if I was in middle school, you were obviously still in elementary school when we switched to DirecTV.
Yes, I feel you'll probably remember a little more than me as far as like what like the titles of some of the shows were. Like I know there was the one where they're in a library and they're lions.
Yes. What was that one called? Between the Lions. So it's a play on Between the Lines.
Yes.
That was a great show.
I loved Elmo's World.
Mm-hmm. Dragon Tales.
Yeah.
Arthur.
Oh my gosh, I can't believe I didn't mention Arthur until now.
Arthur. We were Arthur kids. 110%.
Arthur was a big deal.
Like, if we weren't home in time for Arthur, we were super bummed. Arthur at 4 o'clock. Mm-hmm. And then Zoom. Zaboomafoo, yes.
I was really into Zaboomafoo for a while. Mm-hmm. Was Blue's Clues PBS?
No.
Okay, never mind.
We didn't watch Blue's Clues unless we were over at a friend's house.
Mm-hmm.
At least, I don't think it was PBS. I feel like we would have watched it.
Yeah.
Yeah. We also watched... There was that... Oh, I don't remember what it was called. It was like the kids in space.
Oh.
You know what I'm talking about? It was animated.
All I can think of is Zoom now. Oh, animated.
Yeah.
That is not ringing a bell.
They weren't always in space. I don't know. That was a later show, so I don't recall it quite as well. Mr. Rogers was on PBS.
Oh, my heart.
Yeah. Love Mr. Rogers.
Reading Rainbow?
Reading Rainbow. Yes. Yes.
Mm-hmm. Love that one.
Yeah. So, how do we want to go about this? I just said, let's talk about PBS shows, and I didn't have like a plan in mind.
Yeah, instead of just listing off all these PBS shows, we can
actually talk about them. Let's see.
Do you think you had a favorite?
Oh, Arthur.
Oh, okay.
Arthur and
How
Zoom.
about if you Arthur and Zoom? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
I still tell. So there was a joke on Zoom that I still will say often.
Really?
Yeah.
What's the joke?
So it's like this bit where they're sitting on this bench, these kids, and someone will walk up and say, "What you doing?" "Sitting on a red bench." Oh,
that's from Zoom.
Yes. Oh, the red bench I just painted? What? So if someone says, "What you doing?" I'll say, "Sitting on a red bench."
Nice.
Which is so dumb. But, and I'm just like waiting for the day when someone's like, "You mean the red bench I just painted?" It hasn't happened yet.
Yeah, we'll see.
Maybe it'll happen
One
now
of these
that I put
days.
it on the podcast. Someone will be like, "Ah, I know the other half of this joke now."
You got to speak it into existence.
There you go. By literally telling you the other end of the joke.
There are two things that I remember very vividly from Arthur. One of
Sorry, I just remembered another show. Bill Nye the Science Guy. Okay, back to Arthur.
Oh, that was PBS. Okay. I watched most of Bill Nye in science class.
That's
like
hilarious.
they'd wheel the TV in on the cart and we'd watch a Bill Nye episode.
That's really funny.
Anyway, so from Arthur, I remember an episode where like Arthur falls down into like a pit and there's trash in there and he like cuts his hand on a can.
It wasn't a pit. He was at the dump. He was looking for something.
Literally at the dump.
Yeah, but
and then
yes.
he cut his hand on a can.
Yes.
And then it was like a big deal. So it made that moment has made me afraid of like cutting my hand on a can.
Hey.
Like whenever I'm opening a can of like tomato sauce or something. No, I don't mean like in the wild, like in a dump where I could get tetanus. I mean all cans.
Yeah, yeah. I mean,
I have a
can phobia.
Acute awareness of like every time I'm opening a can of tomato sauce, you know.
Yeah, I think the point of that episode was to be aware of tetanus, but being hypervigilant is okay sometimes.
Yeah, well, it just made me paranoid about cans.
Yeah.
So, and there's another episode where Arthur went over to his friend's house, but it wasn't the bunny guy. It was another aardvark guy, but he was the smart one. He was super.
The brain.
Yeah. Okay, the brain. He went over to his house, and it was the whole episode was about how weird it was, how the brain was acting, and how he was being all like polite and super nice, and he was really weirded out. He was eating French fries with a fork, and it was just because the brain was minding his manners while his friend was over, but normally he wasn't like that.
Yeah.
So it was just a fun little commentary on how we act by ourselves compared to around other people.
Oh my gosh, it was all about code switching. Yeah.
Yeah, and then I was just like, wait, who, even if you were minding your manners, what sane person eats French fries with a fork?
Someone who orders animal-style fries from In-N-Out?
No, but these were just normal fries. There was nothing on them. But I see what you mean. That's like like a nacho situation. Yeah.
Where it's acceptable.
Not saying I eat nachos with a fork. I'm just saying they're messy and utensils are sometimes required. But
You know what? There's
Yeah.
nothing wrong with using a fork to eat nachos. If you're someone who likes to break the chips up so everything is like evenly distributed, I don't always do that, but I did do that in school sometimes because I didn't like.
I've never seen you do that.
I did it in school because I didn't like my fingers getting dirty at lunchtime because I didn't know when I was going to get to like actually wash my hands again.
The salty fingertips.
Yeah, I didn't like that.
Yeah.
So I'd use a fork at school, but not so much anymore.
Yeah, French fries with a fork. Weird.
Weird.
So, yeah, those are my two most prominent moments from Arthur in my head.
I remember the episode where Francine was embarrassed about her dad's job as a she was embarrassed that her dad was a garbage man because was it Molly Molly was the really uppity one?
I think so, yeah.
And Molly made her feel bad about her dad being a garbage man. Anyway, like the episode ends with Francine being like really proud of her dad and the work that he does because he takes care of so many people. And they need him, obviously, to like pick up the trash. And anyway, I was like, oh, that was a good lesson on like everyone's job is important in its own way and don't judge other people's parents for the work that they do to feed their families and take care of their communities. So that episode stood out to me. Yeah. And then there's the library episode where they get the library cards and it's like, exciting.
Oh, that rings a bell.
Yeah.
I feel like I might remember that one. Yeah, I love Arthur so much. So what a great show.
I kind of want to watch it now.
As an adult.
But I want to watch the old episodes. I don't want to watch the new ones. I want to watch the ones that were there when I was a kid.
I want to watch whatever episode got memed with like Arthur clenching his fist out of anger.
Yeah.
I want to find what episode that is and watch it.
Yeah. Oh, and there's so many DW moments where it's like, oh my gosh, DW is a little brat.
DW. Obnoxious. Yeah. So I really like how these PBS shows were obviously like public and they always had such good like moral stories that they were telling.
Yeah, like there was obviously a lesson for the episodes, but it wasn't like you could totally watch it without picking up the lesson.
Yeah, it was done in a subtle way. But yeah, I like how, I mean, Arthur of course covers a lot of different topics. Reading Rainbow, it's about like, you know, reading, although they did a bunch of different stuff in Reading Rainbow. I feel like I remember there was an episode where like he was making pizza.
Are you confusing
they do a lot of stuff.
Reading Rainbow with Mr. Rogers? Because he did a lot of different stuff where he would like go and like see how things were made.
No, I specifically remember the Reading Rainbow guy
Burton
making pizza.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's possible that was another show that he was also on. It might not have been Reading Rainbow. I mean, I don't know for sure.
It was Star Trek for sure.
No. You know what? Reading Rainbow is amazing because Reading Rainbow was a great example of how important it is to see ourselves in the stories that we're reading. And I think that having a Black man do that was incredibly smart. And also like LeVar Burton is just such a comforting presence. And just is phenomenal. So, Reading Rainbow.
For sure.
Classic. Love it.
What a song, too. The theme song for Reading Rainbow.
They should reboot that if they haven't already. Just saying.
Yeah. I want to reboot it and have it be done by Donald Glover.
I love this.
Because there's that Community episode. It's probably struck. But there's that episode where Troy's like obsessed with LeVar Burton and he finally meets him and he's like really excited about it. Yeah. So I think it'd be funny if Donald Glover became the next LeVar Burton. Yes, Reading Rainbow's a great show. Also, it's like really educational. Reading Rainbow is, and along those lines is also Bill Nye.
Yeah. Well, and Mr. Rogers too, but we can talk about Bill Nye first.
Yeah, it's like.
I mean, it's PBS, so the intention was for educational purposes, but it was Reading still like so fun and engaging too as a kid.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Reading Rainbow was like the reading side. Bill Nye was the science side, and then Mr. Rogers was like social,
Yeah,
like
how to be a good human to the
being
people around
nice.
you. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
And like learning about your community too. Because Mr. Rogers also did a lot of the like, we're going to the paint store, we're going to see how they put paint in paint cans. And like highlighting jobs that like you don't necessarily think of, but they're important jobs that have to be done.
Yeah.
Or like I loved the pasta making episode because it's just like machines like cutting pasta. It's very satisfying to watch, even as a kid. I remember one day we still lived in town, so you would have been like just a little guy, and I was watching Bill Nye the Science Guy in my room, and Mom had brought me the cheesy tacos that we used to love to eat, which is just a tortilla with cheese in it, microwaved for a few seconds.
Specifically,
with
like
sour
a
cream.
Kraft single.
Yes.
Like, yeah.
And I had been eating that because she cut it up, so I was eating that, and then I fell asleep watching Bill Nye the Science Guy, and I woke up so upset that I had missed an episode of Bill Nye the Science Guy. I was so mad, and I wanted to rewind it, but you obviously can't rewind TV.
It's so sad.
Then you could, I mean, now I suppose you could, there's devices that let you do that, but...
You should go back and try to find that episode.
I couldn't even begin to tell you what it was. I just remember waking up incredibly sad because I knew, like, I didn't mean to fall asleep.
Yeah.
But.
Bummer.
Yeah. Bummer indeed.
For Bill Nye, I remember an episode that I remember the most is one that we watched in school, and it was about heat and how everything is hot. It's just cold is a lack of heat. So like an ice cube is still hot. It's just not as hot as like a stovetop.
Yeah.
So that's the one I remember the most.
Yeah.
Because there's like really red sweaty man that would run through the snow and be like, "This is still hot.
That's
it's
funny.
snow. It's cold, but it still has heat, and that makes it hot." And it just, yeah,
That's really funny.
Bizarre. Yeah, it was funny.
I remember, I think he was talking about air pressure, and he was trying to like create a seal around some straws in like a container. So he was using clay. I just remember thinking that looks like that would be fun to do.
Yeah.
I was not a science kid, so obviously the principle of whatever he was teaching did not stick out to me as much as the fact that he was using this red clay that looked very squishy. And I wanted to touch it really bad.
Like, I just want to play with the clay.
Yeah. Yeah. But I loved his theme song.
Was there a PBS show that focused more on like the arts and crafts side of things?
Zoom.
Oh, did they? I don't remember a ton about Zoom, to be honest.
They had different segments. So they had craft sections, and then they also had like cooking sections and skits. Like they kind of did a little bit of everything.
Yeah.
But as far as like a show that only did like arts and crafts, I suppose I don't know if Bob Ross was on PBS. He might have been.
I feel like he was. They're definitely in the same vein in my head.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I suppose that could fall under that category. We didn't really watch Bob Ross as kids.
I remember some, like the Happy Little Trees.
Yeah, I mean, I remember parts of it, but I don't remember watching it often, and I think that was just because our parents were artists, and I think that maybe they had a little disdain for commercializing art.
Yeah.
But, I mean, I think there's a time and a place for that. So, anyway. What about Mr. Rogers, though? Was there, like, what was your favorite part of Mr. Rogers?
Honestly, my favorite part of Mr. Rogers was just the train coming out of the tunnel.
Aww.
I was like, I was pretty little still for Mr. Rogers, so I just seeing the train coming out of the tunnel and like that
Yeah.
That's the thing that stuck.
Yeah,
So,
that's fair. I always loved when he took his shoes off and put his tennis shoes on and put his big cardigan on. And now, as an adult, like, I'm learning a lot more about Mr. Rogers, like, as a person. And just, like, what a stellar human being.
I never did get to see that Tom Hanks thing with him.
I haven't either.
Where Tom Hanks was Mr. Rogers in that, but
Yeah.
I haven't seen that yet, but I want to. But
I saw, like a doc. It was like Mr. Rogers, Fred Rogers was like doing an interview, and he said that he had a little girl right into the show that was concerned that the fish weren't being fed because he didn't show
I've
the
seen
fish
this,
being
yeah.
fed. And so from that moment on, he would show the fish being fed, which, like, what a kind way to recognize that, like, this little kid has some anxiety that
yeah,
the animals are not being taken care of. And the best way for me as an adult in control of what's going on the TV, I can at least ease that anxiety and show proof that those fish are in fact being taken care of. Like, what a kind gesture.
what a kind man.
It, like, makes me emotional.
Yeah. I can just think of the theme song for that one too.
Yeah. I just hope that and aspire to be as kind as that.
If those were PBS, would you still get copyright struck for the music for that?
I am assuming that they're still copyrighted.
Yeah, lame.
But no ads. There were never commercials on PBS.
Oh, you're right.
Which I didn't realize until I was looking, because I was like, oh my gosh, are they part of the struck content? So I looked it up, and they're not, because they are no ad content. And the way they structure their organization and residuals and everything is different. So they don't fall under the same category as the other broadcast houses that are being struck. Yeah. So.
Interesting.
Yes, indeed.
I feel like I had thought of... So like on the nature side of things, there was Zaboomafoo. I'm sure there were others too. I remember Zaboomafoo. Just watching him bounce around was super fun.
Oh gosh, you know what? Barney was part of PBS.
Was Magic School Bus?
Yes. Yes.
Man, okay, I got down with Magic School Bus too.
Yeah,
that
ditto.
was... Barney scared me, but Magic School Bus...
I love Barney, but I totally I know exactly what you're talking about. I understand.
The Barney thing that, well, I think he didn't scare me for a while, but then there was that stupid Christmas movie with Barney where, like, his feet are dangling out the bottom of the chimney, and for some reason that terrified me. I don't know why. Just seeing the feet dangling.
We didn't even have a chimney for most of our childhood.
No, I know. I don't know.
Like, the fact that he was stuck scared you?
No, not that he was stuck. I think it was the fact that someone was, like, getting into their house.
Dude, why didn't Santa Claus freak you out?
I think on some level he did.
That's funny. The truth is revealed.
Or respected. I say, is it too much to ask for both?
Oh my gosh.
Oh, man.
Santa Claus didn't freak me out until he was in my bedroom that one time and took my troll doll. Have we told that story on the pod?
We could do a whole episode talking about the Santa mythos.
We should.
And how...
Okay, we'll hold it for that.
And how that...
Teaser.
Because that's storytelling. That's like ingrained tradition and like oral storytelling.
Dude.
And
okay, well, this December, guys, be looking for an episode about the Santa Claus mythos and our personal experience with it.
Maybe this October we'll do a Krampus episode.
Ooh.
For spooky season.
I like it.
And that can maybe like like right after Halloween's over we'll do Krampus and then we'll do a Santa one during December.
I love it. Here for it.
Yeah.
I'm gonna write that down.
Anyway, what were we saying? Oh, Barney was scary. But I really liked Magic School Bus.
Yeah.
Another bop of a song for the for that one.
Yeah,
With
Miss
frizz?
Frizzle.
No way.
And just like, oh my gosh, I learned so much about like molecular cell levels, but differences between sugar and salt,
Mm-hmm.
and the human body, and like cells
Mm-hmm.
and plants.
I remember the one where they like went through the digestive system.
Yeah,
Gross.
very gross.
And I remember the episode where the glasses kid, who's the kid that like all the bad stuff always happened
Arnold.
to,
No.
Arnold, turned orange
Yes, Arnold. Because of the carrots.
because of the carrots. Because he wanted better eyesight, so he ate too many carrots and he turned orange.
And his eyes did not get that much better.
No.
Poor kid. He already had orange hair.
Going to space, that's a classic.
Yes.
And then he takes off his helmet on Pluto and freezes. That was terrifying.
Yeah.
Because I remember thinking, like, did Magic School Bus just kill a character? He should be dead.
Was it Carlos? That seems like something Carlos would have done.
No, that was still the glasses guy.
Oh, it was. Gosh.
Yeah.
Is he the lizard?
Like
Oh my gosh.
Man.
Stop. Okay, I need to go watch Magic School Bus too. Arthur. Another bop of a theme song. I can't believe you didn't say that.
For Arthur?
Yeah.
Yeah. Great shows.
Mm-hmm.
Good fun to be had for everyone. Mm-hmm. There was a lady that came into work the other day dressed up as Miss Frizzle for back to school.
Yes.
It was a fun time.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah, it was cute.
Like, that's fun cosplay.
Yeah. She had the purple dress with like all the stuff on it.
That's amazing.
Yeah. Miss Frizzle. She's so chaotic. I feel like I'm not remembering any others that there's a ton of PBS shows. And I'm super out of touch with like modern PBS shows.
Oh my gosh, I have no
idea what's on PBS now.
Can we talk about Zaboomafoo really quick? Because just wanted the animated part. I didn't care that much about the live action stuff. I just wanted the animated part, which is only like a few seconds at the end of every episode.
Yeah. I loved how they were able to kind of personify Zaboomafoo and make him a character, and like they managed to give him a personality, even though it's just a lemur just jumping around.
Yeah. And
they would like feed him, and he would hang out with the two guys that were like carrying the show.
Yeah.
Like Zaboomafoo is just an animal, but they did a really good job of making child me feel like Zaboomafoo was the main character.
Yeah.
And he was the one like behind all the shots here.
Right.
It was really fun the way they were able to trick me
I'm
as a
sure.
kid.
I was just like, give me to the claymation. I want to see the claymation again.
Yeah.
Because I really liked claymation as a kid.
I remember seeing like claymation Zaboomafoo eat the clay fruit.
Yes.
And it looked delicious.
Right? Man, you know what?
Yeah.
I've just learned about myself today. I just really liked clay as a kid. I was into the clay that Bill and I was using. I wanted the claymation Zaboomafoo. It follows with our childhood, I suppose.
Who's your dad?
Yeah, exactly.
Who's your dad again? Yeah, that's what I thought.
The sculptor who used clay every single day of my life as a child. But
Funny
you know,
how
it's
things
funny.
Work out, isn't it?
Well, I could have just like gone downstairs and been like, Dad, can I have a little bit of clay? Could have like satisfied that desire really quickly and easily, but
yeah,
I don't know. Isn't that funny?
My dad's clay was gray and boring. I want
It's
the
true.
fun colored modeling clay from Hobby Lobby.
It's true. And Dad's clay also dried out.
Yes.
Which was the purpose of Dad's clay. But anyhow.
Most clay, in fact, I would say is the...
Yeah. But like modeling clay, it takes a little longer. It's a little oilier.
Yeah.
I think. I don't know.
So that it doesn't dry out too fast on the kiddos.
Right. Anyway, this isn't an episode about clay.
No, it's just a big nostalgia episode.
Yeah. Thomas the Tank Engine was also a PBS show, I'm pretty sure.
Oh, snap.
Back in the day.
You ready for a controversial thing that I'm about to say?
Uh-oh.
all I remember from Thomas the Tank Engine is the toys.
You don't remember the show?
No.
You were very
not even a
little.
little bit.
You were very tiny. Because we were
Not even a
in
little
town
bit.
when we watched that.
Yeah. I remember the toys, and I remember the long green one. It had like a little...
Yeah, with the square face. You know what's funny? I didn't ever want to watch Thomas the Tank Engine, but Mom always made us watch it because you wanted to watch it. So the fact that you don't remember it is a little devastating for me.
That is tragic for you, isn't it? It is super tragic.
That's really funny.
You know, just younger sibling vibes. You must sacrifice for me. And then I don't even remember it.
Oh my gosh, you know what else we didn't mention? The Teletubbies.
Tugboat guy?
No, the Teletubbies.
That's okay.
It was also a PBS show.
Teletubbies is a trip.
And then there was also the show called Naughty. Do you remember Naughty?
No.
It's Noddy. But Mom and Dad thought it was naughty, like Naughty. And so they originally didn't want us to watch it because they didn't want us to watch a show that was about someone being naughty. But it was about a puppet named Noddy.
Oh.
Can you hear the difference?
Yes.
Anyway, I don't remember much else about that show except that we weren't supposed to watch it and we did anyway.
I don't remember watching that show at all.
Oh.
Oh, wait. The couch.
Oh my gosh, the couch show.
I
know, because it's the girl who does the clock thing with her legs.
Yes. And then the cleanup time.
Cleanup song is from Barney.
Really?
Clean up, everybody. That one?
That's Barney?
That's Barney, man.
Oh, I thought it was her. But there was like the doll version.
Yes.
Was it Molly?
Couch show PBS. The big comfy couch.
The big comfy couch.
Yes. Because she is the doll. Like she...
Yeah.
Yeah. And then she'd always go look for things in the couch, and I was always scared she was going to get bit by something. I don't know why. I was always afraid that there was going to be something, even in our couch.
Like a snake
Yeah,
or
like
something.
if you put your hand in between the cushions, that something was going to bite you. Like a
There's
snake.
probably some kind of like primal...
Don't put your hand in the dark hidey hole.
Yeah, some kind of like ancient defense mechanism triggering in your brain of like, hey, don't stick your hand in that thing. You can't see what's in there. There's predators.
Yeah, that's funny. Maybe. Yeah. Probably. That makes sense. A spider's going to get you if you put your hand in the hole.
Yeah.
Yeah. Big comfy couch.
Yeah, big comfy couch was also great.
I
almost forgot about that one.
You know what always bugged me about that show, though? When she's doing the clock thing with her legs, she would not ever quite get on the numbers, which, like, as an adult, I understand.
Yeah.
Because the human body is not actually a clock. But as a kid, I was annoyed that she wasn't actually pointing to the numbers correctly.
It's so hard to please as a child.
Casting stones here, where I had absolutely zero ability to do that myself. But
yeah, let's see you do it, Anna.
Even as a super flexible child, there was no way. Now I'm a much less flexible adult.
Yeah.
So.
Well, Big Comfy Couch is also great. Love that one. So, yeah, PBS.
PBS. Great memories.
Very nostalgic. Very fun.
Yeah.
So if you know of, dear listener, if you are more in tune with like modern PBS,
like I guess if you have kids, I'm assuming that kids are not listening to our podcast. So if you have children that are enjoying PBS content,
right? Like if you have kids or nieces or nephews or young people in your life that do still watch PBS, I'm curious to hear what the content is like now.
Does it hold up?
Yeah, is it as good as it was when we were kids?
Because it was pretty bomb when we were kids. Just saying.
Is Sesame Street still airing?
Sesame Street is still airing, but it is not on PBS anymore. I don't believe. I think it's been moved to a different production house that is struck. I believe it's on HBO now.
Oh, bizarre.
Yeah. I believe.
Well,
I
it was
could
on
be
PBS.
wrong. I could be wrong. But yes, when we were kids, it was on PBS. So you could, you know, it's weird to talk about it now because it's part of the Struck work, but
I'll leave my Elmo's World comment in because it was PBS when I was a kid. Dang it.
I think that's fair, and I like. Let me look up and see if Sesame Street is Struck specifically.
Yeah.
Because if it's not Struck, we should talk about. Okay, we're gonna put this in. This is just very surface level research into Sesame Street. When we were kids, Sesame Street was on PBS. Mm-hmm. Excellent. Love Sesame Street. In 2016, it lost its DVD revenue. I don't know what that means. And PBS could not match it in terms of its licensing fee. So I'm guessing that means it costs too much to keep producing it. So HBO took it over in 2016. Which means I don't know if it's part of the Struck work or not. And now I'm just seeing a bunch of HBO Max removed 200 Sesame Street episodes from 2022 and like controversy. I'm not going to read into all that right now. But anyway.
Interesting.
There's something going on with
Sesame Street tea. Yeah.
that we don't know much about, so we won't get into it. Maybe we'll cover that in a later episode, but probably not. Who knows? We might come back to it. But anyway, when we were kids, Sesame Street was a big thing. And I loved Big Bird and Big Bird's buddy. Do you remember the Snuffleupagus?
No, I only know that word by you saying it.
Right now? Okay, well, I love the Snuffleupagus.
No, like I've heard you say that word before.
Okay.
I just never realized that was from Sesame Street.
But I thought it was related to Heffalumps and Woozles from Winnie the Pooh.
From Pooh. Oh,
but
boy.
They're not related.
That's funny.
But there's similar words. Yeah.
I liked the Cookie Monster.
And I wanted the Grouch to just be happy. Remember the Stink Plant episode?
No.
Oh, okay. That's all we need to say about that then.
Nope. I sure don't.
Yeah.
I don't remember most things about Sesame Street. I just remember characters.
Sure.
Just shapes. Just colors and shapes is all I remember.
That was a lot of Sesame Street. So I think you took away what you were supposed to.
Yep.
Anyway. Well, have we waxed poetic about our childhoods long enough?
Probably.
Okay.
So now we can talk about the few things we can talk about with what we're
consuming. Yeah. You go first, Joseph. What are you watching, reading, playing? Tell me all the things.
For watching, we're still watching Tokyo Ghoul for anime night. Still watching Critical Role. There was a new Candela Obscura thing that started, which I still need to watch. And I'm excited because Brennan Lee Mulligan is in it. And for watching,
you've just been talking about watching.
No, I know. I'm just
okay.
I'm just thinking for watching, that might be it. All I can talk about. I don't think I can talk about. Can I talk about live action anime adaptations that may have just come out?
No, because that is part of Netflix.
Nope.
Redacted.
Well.
Struck.
That's pretty much it for watching, though. It's not really, but it is.
I hear you.
So, because I feel like there's a lot of things actually coming out. There's a lot of things coming out right now.
It is true. Our list of things to talk about once the strike is over is getting very long.
Like a lot of shows just started pumping out content, and I'm like, oh my gosh. But,
which that will stop eventually because they will run out of things that they've already worked on to put out.
Indeed, they will. So for reading, still reading A Shadow of What Was Lost. Yes, I believe that's the title. They're kind of wordy titles, and sometimes I get them mixed up between the different books in the series. But
Gotcha.
I think that's what it's called. I mentioned it last time. And we're reading A Magic Steeped in Poison. Still reading the Saga comic. I'm on like the 5th or 6th volume now, and that's really good.
Good.
I feel like that's pretty much it for reading. For playing, I already mentioned how I beat Tears of the Kingdom last time, and now Baldur's Gate 3 is out on PS5. So that has consumed me and also Hope. And that has been a jolly good time.
Nice.
It's been fun, super fun.
Awesome.
So, yeah, that's it for me. What about you?
Nice. Okay, so for my reading, A Magic Steeped in Poison, The Hobbit. I listened to some more of that on my drive up to Minnesota this last weekend. That was really fun. Is that all I'm reading right now? Whoa. I mean, I'm reading a ton of articles for class. But that's different.
Yeah, that's very different.
And I don't have a book club right now with the kiddos because I was trying to figure out what is happening with my life as far as my employment goes before I commit to a specific time slot for a book club. But once I have that ironed out, I will resume book clubs. And then for watching Critical Role, Campaign 3, I am super behind on Candela Obscura, so I don't feel like I can count that. Game Changer on Dropout. Those are nice little short episodes of improv content. It's fun. I watched a couple movies with Leanne that I can't talk about, but I am excited to when I can.
Yeah.
Gosh, is that it? Oh, Tokyo Ghoul. I don't have any other anime that I'm watching right now, so I guess that's it. And then for playing, I have also not been playing a whole lot lately. I'm still working on that one game, Ori and the Blind Forest, but I haven't probably played since the last time we recorded because I've been back in school.
Ooh, boy.
So, life is stressful right now.
Indeed.
But it's okay.
It will be.
We are getting through it. So.
One day at a time.
One day at a time, for sure. I did buy some new books. But I will talk about them once I have read them.
Cool.
So.
Sounds good to me.
Yeah.
Well, I guess, speaking of books, next week we'll talk more about A Magic Steeped in Poison.
Yes, which we're almost done with that book already.
Yeah, we're like over halfway now.
Yeah. I think there's only like 3 weeks left, so we'll have to get our next poll up. So, plug for our Patreon. If you want to vote on our next read-along, you can sign up for that. So, link is in the description, as always.
Yeah. Cool. Well, I guess, until next time then, go watch a fun PBS show because they're not struck.
Do it. And we'll talk to you next time.
Later.
Bye.